What's up, guys? It's Edge here again, doing another quick little review of the Spyderco Smock. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, I sure do appreciate it. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel if you want to listen to me ramble on about knives. If not, that's fine too. I appreciate you tuning in just for this one. Hit the like button, would be greatly appreciated also. So this is a Spyderco Smock. This is one of my favorite Spyderco designs. I know I say that a lot with Spyderco, but this is the Taichung Taiwan leg of the Spyderco World Tour. And Taichung Taiwan, in my opinion, as far as fit and finish goes, as far as finesse and good looking knives, I would say is, to me, even better than Golden, right? And that's that's pretty crazy coming from somebody that's a big Spyderco fan. But Taichung Taiwan definitely giving Golden Colorado a run for their money. Now, I'm not saying Taichung's better in every aspect, but to me, as far as fit and finish goes, I'm I'm a little more on board with Taichung. Anyway. But yeah, this is the Taiwan leg of the World Tour Spyderco knives. So we did China first, so we did Japan, Sekisei Japan, with the Indela and the Cinefonte 3, and this is the Spyderco Smock, designed by Kevin Smock. Great designer, makes a lot of really cool looking knives. Go check him out on Facebook. Check him out on Instagram. He's got some really cool looking scales. These come in small batch. These are aftermarket scales. This isn't how the Spyderco Smock comes. Actually, originally, that's how it looks, right? So that's the original scales that come with it, the original handle scales. So these are aftermarket, done by Kevin Smock. This is a Nuke Blue Anno Smock scales, which I've waited quite a while for them to be available, and I just thought it was only appropriate to, instead of getting something from you know, Flytanium or somewhere else that you know, they make also, they do make wonderful scales. You know, I thought it was really neat that I was able to get these from the designer himself, Kevin Smock. So go ahead and get into it before I lose track here. Go ahead and do overall measurement on this thing. Looking at a full-size knife, Spyderco Smock, from the tip of the blade all the way to the butt end of the handle, right at 8 inches. So that's a good size. Cutting edge, that's what she said. Cutting edge, you're looking at right at 3 inches on the cutting edge, from the tip to the cutting edge. And full blade length right at 3.5 if you go to right up where it butts up against the handle there. So got pretty decent forward choil / finger choil right there. Excuse me. Alright, sorry, I've been fighting a little bit of a cold here for the last week or so. Go ahead and put the calibers on there. Blade stock thickness, thickest part, right at the thickest part of the blade anyway. Spine of the blade. Looking at 108, yeah, right at 118 thousandths, 119 thousandths. Flip it over. It's a really nice deep hollow grind. Flip it over to the slicing edge of this thing. You're looking at 20 thousandths. Really super slicey with that hollow grind. Alright. And I guess I could do handle thickness, right? But these are aftermarket handles. So 400, just under 1/2 inch. Fairly thick for the aftermarket ones, but not really, you know, extraordinarily thick. So if we look at it here, from what I got, 0.089, and I'll go ahead and look at a measurement of these. You're actually looking at right about the same, maybe even a little larger for the factory scales that come with these things, right? So that's what you're looking at, factory anyway. So got that out the way. Go ahead and do size comparisons. This is the Cold Steel Knives 8010. It's much less bulky, a little shorter. tip to butt right there, right, giggity, than the 8010. But not too far off, right? I mean, not an extraordinary difference there. Full-size knife, it's just this thing's a lot chunkier than this is, for sure. And let's see, where's it at? Here we go. Andrew Demko AD 20.5. Alright, get it up. So I got the pivots lined up there. So, cutting edge, you're looking still a little more than 80-20.5, right in between those two. Go ahead and get 2 more out here. Doug Ritter Hogue RSK MK1 G10, full-size knife, right? Hogue Deca, what I would call, on this channel anyway, a medium-sized knife. So a little bit smaller, but still not too much bigger than the Hogue Deca, right in between those two. Although a lot less bulky than the RSK MK1. Spyderco Paramilitary 2, alright, that's one of its brothers right there. Spyderco Para 3. So, looking at it, it's again just in between those two. Right in between those two, really. I'd say more close to about the size of the Paramilitary 2 than the Para 3. Para 3 a little bit smaller, but yeah, so that's the size you're looking at anyway. So we'll go ahead and get the scale out here, zero it out, turn it on. Now this again is kind of not fair because I got these aftermarket scales on here. So even with the heavier titanium scales, and these things, I'm getting back out. This is a G10 scale with a peel ply carbon fiber over it, which I don't really care for too much, but they are extraordinarily light, right? So you're looking at 0.7 of an ounce right there. Pretty light, pretty dang light. Put it up there, you're looking at 4.8 ounces. Now this is with the titanium scales. Keep that in mind. These are aftermarket scales, so unless you've got these particular scales, that doesn't tell you anything as far as an exact weight, other than even dressed up with titanium scales on it, this thing still only comes in at 4.8 ounces, which to me isn't really an issue, you know, and I don't consider that heavy at all. Ounce and inch, it's over it for sure, but it's not it's not on the side of like an extremely heavy knife, right? So go ahead and do the hardware check on it. I should know this by heart because I took this thing apart and put these scales on here. T6, it looks like there, T6, T8 on the pivot. The pivot's good at being a T8. This is a T6. Go ahead and put that in. Yeah, T6, T6. So would have been preferable for T8s. You know, I always prefer T8s over T6s. They strip a lot less easy, but you know, if you're careful with what you're doing and you got good quality bits, and the damn thing's not completely red lock tighted in, you'll be just fine with T6s. Just gotta go a little slower and put a little more pressure behind it when you're trying to unscrew them, you know. Not a captive pivot. That's one thing that I don't like about it. While we're on the topic of hardware, anyway. Not a captive pivot would be one downside of this knife. That along with the T6s. Other downside of this knife, well, I guess I could go ahead and do the, before I forget, I got the scale sitting right next to the blue jeans here. Go ahead and do the carry. Now this also, just like the weight, this is not the clip it comes with. It comes with a standard Spyderco clip, which I do not like. Never have liked a standard spoonbill Spyderco clip. This is a deep carry Lynch Northwest clip. They're about 25 to 30 bucks. Whenever you look at them on Lynch Northwest website, I can link them down below also. This is a great clip, great pocket clip. Titanium, Lynch Northwest, American made clips. But when you got that clip on it, that's what it looks like carrying it in the pocket. Which most people do put Lynch clips on Spydercos as soon as they get them, or MXG or some other aftermarket clip, because no one really likes the Spyderco standard clips. I've not ran into someone that absolutely is in love with them, and they're not the worst pocket clips in the world by any means. It's a VV, but they're also, they could be a lot better. So that's what you're looking like carrying it. Now, as far as likes about this knife, what I love about this knife, besides the look, it's a beautiful blade shape to me. Nice hollow grind, deep hollow grind. It slices really well. The base model is S30V. That steel's just fine. It's not the best steel in the world, again, like I said with the Sage 5 lightweight, but S30V is just a fine steel. It's not it's kind of mid-range, I would say, in my opinion. Again, the lock on this thing I absolutely love. This is not a regular plunge lock, not a regular button lock. So this pushes in and actuates the let's see it from this way. This button pushes in like that, and it's a compression lock. So it's a button actuated compression lock. So that slides that tab out the way when you push it in. A lot more secure than your standard plunge lock, in my opinion, but very convenient, even more so than the compression lock. I know I've said before that the compression lock is my favorite lock. I don't know. I kind of like the button actuated compression lock even better. So now, as far as fit and finish, this thing is good to go. It's a nice satin finish on the blade there. Good little jimping right there. You can choke up there, comfortable. It's a little pointy if you choke all the way up right there. You gotta kind of watch your finger. But perfect blade shape, good EDC blade shape. Spider hole access is perfect. It's almost not cut out enough, but it is. So even for my large size hands, I can flick it, do the middle flick, Spidey flick with no problem. This is probably one of the most fidgety knives in my collection. You can flip it like a normal flipper knife, like you can't do with a lot of Spydercos. You can Spidey flick it with the hole. You can front flip it. Front flip's really easy on this thing. Light switch it. Flip it out with the lock, which I don't recommend. I mean, it's pretty much one of the most fidgety knives on the planet to me. But also, I guess while we're on the topic of likes and dislikes, where are they at? The scales. The scales. I really don't like the scales that come with that. If they would have just gave us G10 scales, that'd be fine. I'd be absolutely fine with that. Or, even better than that, carbon fiber. That'd be really nice. But I don't like peel ply carbon fiber that much. A lot of other reviewers have said that too. And until I got it in hand, I didn't really realize. But yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. It's definitely not the worst handle scales I felt. I'd rather this than FRN, But yeah, that's to me, the titanium's the way to go, with the aftermarket scales by Kevin Smock. But I can't really think of anything else. Fidgetiness, it is an exceptionally fidgety knife. The price of this thing, when you're looking at it, it keeps creeping up like a lot of Spydercos, especially a lot of Taichung, Taiwan Spydercos. A lot of their prices kind of keep creeping up, and I know the economy and inflation and all that stuff, but to me, the Smock here, and it is available right now. I'm going to link the DLT Trading link. The price isn't bad at all, because I love this thing. All right, $228, that's the price of it. It's a $228 knife. But for $228, I think in 2024, you should have a captive pivot. You should have something other than peel ply, carbon G10, peel ply carbon fiber over G10. hardware, I mean, I can kind of forgive that. And the steel, you know, for the price, when you're looking at 228 bucks, it could be better. But what you're paying for with this thing is the design. The design is solid. It's a beautiful knife. One of my favorite all-time knives. Just like I keep saying, every time that I pull up Spyderco, one of my Taiwan Spydercos for review, I catch myself saying that a lot. You know, maybe too much, but this is a beautiful knife. You know, very slicey, very unique, very good carry, good for a lot of aspects. You know, not the best knife if you're going to go batoning wood with it or prying with it or stuff like that. But I mean, you really, as far as your everyday carry knife, you should have, you know, a pry bar or something like that if you're going to do that. So anyway, I guess overall I would probably rate this knife right at a 95, 96. Wonderful knife, great knife, fidgety, multiple means of deployment, you know, all kinds of aftermarket scale options, clip options, you know, beautiful blade shape, good designer, beautiful fit and finish on it, and good ergonomics too. I don't even know if I covered that, but to me that you know, this is choked back in this position. That's fairly comfortable. Choked up is fairly comfortable too. You know, you got a little bit of jimp in there to help out. That little sharp point could be taken off, would help, you know, if that was rounded. Those are all the positives of the knife anyway. The negatives, I would say, is the T6 you know, hardware, and S30V steel prices are creeping up a lot. But overall, wonderful knife, great knife, one of my favorite knives, and it'll never leave my collection because of the effort that I put into modding this knife. You know, these aren't just you can't just go online real quick and get these scales. You know, you got to wait for them. Kevin Smock himself has to build them, and that's something special, I think. So anyway, that's it. That's the Spyderco Smock. I'll have the link down in the description. I'll put Lynch Northwest and also Kevin Smock in some form or fashion in the description. Their sites, their websites, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for liking the video, and like the video if you haven't liked it yet. Subscribe to the channel. You know, it means the world. Helps me validate spending all this time sitting here talking at my table and talking to these knives. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, have a really good rest of your day.